program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, it does not matter who the host is, that is for sure. Anyways, we are listening to the Rated R Safety Show, coming to you live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. Anyways, today is Tuesday, September the 14th of 2021, day 257th of the year, and only, you ready for this? We're getting closer. 108 days left to go. So there you go. That's what's going on. So as we are broadcasting across the multiverse of Safety FM, we're also broadcasting at that other place that we do stuff and hang out with and all that kind of fun stuff. Baby. Radio. Okay, so here you go. It looks like we might have some life today. I'm not sure. It looks promising this morning, but it does not guarantee anything. So we've been kind of still playing with some of the boxes and doing all that kind of fun stuff. So, just for the sake of saying so, if you want to message us, best thing to do is text message at 866-930-SFM1, 866-930-SFM1. That normally kind of gives you a better shot of being seen than going through our traditional routes. I think it might have actually something to do with what we have planned too. So I'm not sure if I should be talking about this because I'm way ahead of the curve on what I'm talking about, but that's a whole other story. We can leave that for another day. Anyway, so let's get moving and grooving, start talking about what is going on inside of the world. So we're going to do that this morning, talk about some of those things, what's been trending and all that kind of fun stuff, and then talk about some of the shenanigans. Yes, shenanigans of stuff that's going on out there inside of the industry currently. So let's start talking right away. We're going to start talking immediately of the top 5 trending songs because we're going to do that for each category for Spotify and for iTunes. So taking it from the Spotify side of the house, Manskin with Beggin'. At number 4, Ed Sheeran with Bad Habits. At number 3, Farruko with Pepas. At number 2, Lil Nas X with Industry Baby. And at the number 1 spot, according to Spotify, The Kid and Justin Bieber would Stay. At number 5, according to iTunes, was Lisa. At number 4, The Kid and Justin Bieber would Stay. At number 3, Ed Sheeran with Bad Habits. At number 2, Ed Sheeran with Shivers. And at the number 1 spot, according to Walker Hayes, according to iTunes, was Walker Hayes, Fancy Like. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of there. You know, I'm starting to get to the point, too, that I really think that maybe we should just go with the Billboard chart, opposed to giving you everything else. So let's talk about this real quick, just in case if you're hanging out for the first time. This is what happens. We are a radio show that does some streaming services and all that kind of fun stuff. So we do radio first, then we kind of go into the video aspect of it. So I have this bad habit that I don't look at the camera, don't take it personal, nothing against you. Just letting you know. But here's the way that it works out. We talk about safety and the news and safety, and then we kind of come back around and then talk a little bit more detailed about different stories that are going on out there. So if you're new to the show, that's what's going on. So just in case you were not aware of what's happening, don't worry. No remotes going on this week because some people have asked. No, I'm not going to be popping up or showing up doing any remote stuff this week. especially in anywhere located in Texas. So just in case, because I've had some conversations or some messaging come in through that. No, not any surprise appearance or anything along those lines. But thanks for the question, because I always think that it is great. So there you go. That's that. But let's get to my friends at Feature Story News so we can get that moving and grooving and have them say what exactly they have going on. So take a listen.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Californians head to the polls on Tuesday for the recall election of Governor Gavin Newsom. It's only the second recall election in the state ever to qualify for the ballot. The previous recall resulted in actor Arnold Schwarzenegger becoming governor. Rachel Silverman reports from Oakland.
California voters are answering two questions. First, if Governor Newsom should be recalled, and second, who should replace him? The leading contender is controversial conservative radio talk show host Larry Elder. Nearly 4 dozen others are on the ballot, including celebrity Caitlyn Jenner. Newsom's critics say they're unhappy with the pandemic orders that shuttered schools and businesses because of COVID-19. Recent polls show Newsom is likely to survive the attempt to remove him from office.
The southwestern Chinese city of Putian is ramping up restrictions as it battles a new COVID outbreak. State media calls the situation serious and complex as the city braces for more new cases in communities, schools and factories. Samuel Wong reports.
Chinese authorities say that 35 new cases, as well as 32 asymptomatic ones, were recorded over the weekend in Putian City. Preliminary testing shows that they had contracted the highly transmissible Delta variant. The first few infections were elementary school students. Experts suspect that the source of the outbreak was a student's parent who had recently returned from Singapore. In response, cinemas and gyms have been shut and some entries and exits to highways sealed off. Putian residents have also been instructed against leaving the city for non-essential reasons.
The US will host the Quad group of nations later this month. It's been confirmed. The bloc consists of the US, India, Japan and Australia and is often seen as a counterbalancing power to China's rising influence. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Joe Biden may also hold bilateral talks on the sidelines, as Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
This will be Mr. Modi and Mr. Biden's first in-person meeting since the latter became the president. Regional security concerns and the rise of Taliban in India's neighboring Afghanistan could be at the top of the agenda. The role of Pakistan and China in the region too could feature in the talks, especially as both US and India share concerns about China's rising influence in Asia. India's Foreign Secretary has already been visiting senior US government members to set the stage for the talks. Experts say both Mr. Modi and Mr. Biden will have the opportunity to reinvent India-US relationship. Mr. Modi was considered to be close to President Donald Trump, but the Biden-Harris administration says they're committed to enhancing America's relationship with Asian countries.
Norwegian Prime Minister Erna Solberg's conceded defeat after her party suffered losses in national elections. With her coalition losing its majority, left-leaning parties plan to work together to form a new government. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, the making of a new tennis icon. Emma Raducanu, at 18, has taken the sport by storm after winning the US Open last weekend. Overnight, she became a global sensation, the first British player to win a Grand Slam singles championship for 44 years. The first British player to win the US Open since Virginia Wade in 1968. It's not just that she won, but the exuberant joy she exhibited last weekend that secured her a fresh place in the hearts of millions of fans. Harry Bushnell is her former trainer, working at the Park Langley Club in southern England that Emma Raducanu joined at the age of 6.
You know, you just have this gut feeling. Can't tell you exactly what it is. Did she run quicker than everybody else and jump higher and hit her forehand with more spin?
2022, with the aim to develop new technologies to tackle China's growing military presence.
And the UK government has confirmed that booster vaccines will be offered to the over 50s, as well as people in care homes and frontline health and social care workers. Jonathan Van Tam, the Deputy Chief Medical Officer for England, said the name of the game is to stay on top of things. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, the making of a new tennis icon. Emma Raducanu, at 18, has taken the sport by storm after winning the US Open last weekend. Overnight, she became a global sensation, the first British player to win a Grand Slam singles championship for 44 years. The first British player to win the US Open.
Safety never sounded so terrible.
Rated R Safety Show.
You know how sometimes in life you have those moments of shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know what I'm talking about. It happens all the time to people. So let's talk about that very sensitive subject of male pattern baldness. Don't go through that moment where you're going, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let's talk about my friends at Keeps. 2 out of 3 men experience some form of hair loss by the time they are 35. With more than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. You don't have to be one of them. Think about this. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss, and my friends at Keeps offer both. Keeps offers simple, stress-free way for you to keep your hair. Convenient virtual doctor's consultations and medication delivered straight to your door. I mean, I have to tell you, just for the whole sake of not having to leave your house to have the consultation, that should sell itself. But the low-cost treatments start just as low as $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions. Discreet packaging and proven results. Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. I want you to think about that. People love the product. Prevention is key. Treatment can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so act fast. All you have to do to take action to prevent hair loss is to go to keeps.com. That's KEEPS.com/safety. to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com, KEEPS.com/safety to get your first month free. That's KEEPS.com/safety. Remember, not everybody has such a beautiful head as mine. So don't be saying coulda, shoulda, woulda. Act on Keeps right now.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open, don't speak with your mouth full, keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show
on Safety FM.
Oh, there you go. A lot of stuff. So I have to tell you, let's not play like it didn't happen, because it sure as shit did. What happened with some feature stuff? some feature story stuff. You know what I'm saying? It definitely sounded like it went all over the place, that's for sure. Okay, so let's get into the news and talk about what is going on, because I think that that's going to be important. So let's go from there. More people have died from 9/11 related illnesses than those that were killed in the 2001 terrorist attacks. Of course, we're talking about this because it was a 20-year anniversary of the terror attacks back in 2001 from September 11th over the weekend. According to a new report from the Justice Department, victims' compensation fund, nearly 3,000 people were killed on 9/11, while federal statistics show that 3,311 people enrolled in the CDC World Trade Center health program have died. The leading cause of the death was cancer. Over $8.9 billion in compensation has been issued to the 9/11 survivors and victims' family. The VFC says that it has received nearly 3,900 claims for deaths linked. Yes, I did say linked to the 9/11 related illnesses. So what do you think about this? Is this the first time hearing this? I'm just asking the question because it's a lot of stuff. It's definitely a lot of things going on. So I look at this and go, okay, so how is that the go-to? How is that the numero uno, the cancer portion? It's some stuff to think about for sure, especially with some of the people that are out there that do some of these interesting industries when it comes to work stuff. So I want you to think about that as we are moving forward. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things. Apple has issued an emergency software update yesterday after researchers discovered a flaw in the company's product that made them vulnerable to no-click spyware. According to the report, the Citizens Lab, the exploit called Verdentity, yes, you heard me there, was able to attack through iMessaging systems on iPhones, Mac computers, and Apple Watches. The flaw was found when Citizen Lab examined the phone of a Saudi activist who was believed to have been hacked by Israel-based NSO group Pegasus spyware. Apple users were urged to update their product immediately. Just taking a look at what it looks like, it's about 300 and give or take megs of a software update. So just in case if you're wondering what it is, so if you do have an Apple product, an Apple device, it might be strongly recommended to you. Yes, I did say strongly recommended to you for you going ahead and upgrading and updating that thing. I mean, it's kind of a weird thing. I mean, because let's just be realistic. Today, September the 14th, is the announcement of the new iPhone. So timing is of the essence. So I don't know if that's going to put it in the up and up or if that's going to put it in the down and down, but definitely some things to think about as we are talking about them. I mean, I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger, my friend. I'm just telling you what exactly is going on for sure.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying.
He is trying to be entertaining.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, 19 minutes past the top of the hour. A man from California was arrested yesterday after cops found several weapons in his truck, including we'll say some shotgun blues. Let's just do it that way. And some swastikas all over the vehicle as he camped out near a Democratic Party headquarters. Donald Craighead, yes, Donald Craighead. I didn't say crackhead, I said Craighead. 44 was taken into custody by Capitol Police after an officer noticed him lurking in the pickup truck outside the building. The officers approached him to see what was going on, and that is when he spotted, the white supremacy truck is what they were calling it. Craighead, who told the arresting officers that he was on patrol, was booked for possession of prohibited weapons, and it is unclear if the man had made any specific threats. So, I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting one for sure, as the dude was hanging out, doing some of the iggy around and about and all that other kind of fun stuff. So just some things to talk about as we are speaking first thing in the morning. So let me get my friend Johnny Smalls over here. Let him talk about what he has going on, because those things are always important. don't go anywhere when it comes to this. So let's get John inside of here and let him tell us of what was going on with the market yesterday.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, September 14th, 2021. Equity markets were mixed on Monday as traders brace for what is largely expected to be a very hot read on consumer prices. The Dow Jones Industrial Average posted a small gain while the S&P 500 closed near break even and the Nasdaq Composite moved lower. The data in question is the August read on consumer prices in the form of the Consumer Price Index. Consumer prices are expected to moderate from July's 0.5% monthly gain to a still warm 0.4%, but there is an upside risk in the consensus estimates. More importantly, the year-over-year gains are expected to remain hot and could accelerate sharply from the previous month. Later in the week, the market will be focused on the retail sales figure and what it might mean for the Q3 earnings. August retail sales are expected to fall 0.7% from last year, but this is versus last year's very robust figure. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one and exactly telling us what exactly was going on inside of the market. So here's what we found on our end. Markets began a new trading week in mixed territory as the Dow surged about 260 points, the Nasdaq fell about 9 points, and the S&P added about 10 points. The Dow Industrial Average reversed a 5-day losing streak. Investors responded with a bit of optimism after the House Democratic proposed tax hikes, smaller than the original feared. The mood was still cautious overall as the key August inflation measures are to be published later this week. Virgin Galactic Holding dropped nearly about 4% after announcing a delay in an upcoming flight due to manufacturing defects. So there you go. Just some things to talk about as we are moving and grooving this morning, going in and around and about and all that kind of fun stuff. So don't worry about that. We'll just see how those things go. Thanks, John, for letting us know what is going on. So let's talk about some other things. You know, we haven't spoken about it, and it's been a few minutes for sure. COVID-19 hospitalizations and deaths across the country peaked and started to decline at the beginning of September. According to the CDC, the levels of vaccination and natural immunity, along with the improved treatment, suggests that the virus is becoming diminishing health risk in the UK. In the UK, listen to me, anarchy in the UK. No, in the US, the data shows that the surge of the Delta variant, that there are over 40 million confirmed cases of COVID in the US. Researchers estimate that there is actually 2.1 infections per reported case, which brings that up to about 84 million. In addition, 177 million fully vaccinated. 53% of the population, about 10% of the population, received a single dose, which provides some protection. Now, while there is some overlap because of some of the people that were infected have also been vaccinated, roughly 80% of the population has been vaccinated or has natural immunity from COVID-19. The CDC notes that both types of immunity provides effective protection against the virus, and the risk of breakthrough infections is small for both groups. Researchers have also noted that the ending the pandemic does not mean that the virus will be eradicated and that there will also be no cases, but rather there will be serious illness and death will become rare. So there you go. There you go. So what do you think about all this? I mean, there's some things to think about. Is herd immunity, has it been reached? I guess is one question. And what more can be done? And then what is the end goal? I mean, maybe that's some stuff to think about because, we're talking in that NATO stuff. So I don't know. And then what do you think? Is natural immunity just as effective as a vaccine? I don't understand that part. It's still a lot of conversations. And, here's the thing that I don't get. If you and I talk about health and safety all the time, and we're saying, hey, let's do this, let's do that, and let's take a factor about what you think about vaccines, especially the ones related to COVID, and what do you think should be done? Should you have a large gathering to sit around and talk about safety? I mean, is now the time to do so, or do you look at it and go, not the time yet? Maybe we need to hold off. Maybe it's not the time to do this. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that comes up and that becomes questions right away. Just saying. Anyways, let's continue talking. The parents of missing Long Island woman Gabby Petito are desperate to find her. The 22-year-old was last seen in Wyoming Grand Teton National Park in late August after heading onto a road trip a month earlier with her boyfriend Brian Loungy. The bear has been making various stops while traveling in a van across the country. While the plan was for her to end up in Portland, Oregon, Petito kept the regular contact with her parents along the way. Her dad told the Post when neither of her parents could reach her after last hearing from her on August the 25th, they became concerned. Authorities have possession of the van where the pair were traveling with Landry, who has since returned to Florida and has hired a lawyer and is refusing to talk to them. So hold on. Let me make sure that I have this straight. The boyfriend's back, and the daughter's still gone, and the boyfriend's refusing to talk and has hired a lawyer. Maybe I watch too much drama in regards of, some of those reality TV shows where they do investigations, but I'm not sure if I should say what's coming to mind next. Forensic Files is a show that comes to mind. Dateline NBC is another one that comes to mind right away. So I'm not sure if I'm probably the best person to make the next comentario when it comes to what I'm thinking in regards of what's going on here.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, scientists recently tested out the theory that cows can be potty trained and found out that 11 out of 16 cows learned how to use the mooloo when they had to go. Researchers use the reward system just like parents of toddlers often do to coax the cows to through the gate to urinate in a special pen. It only took about 15 days to train the young calves to do it. Senior authority of the study, Lindsay Matthews, a behavioral scientist at New Zealand University of Auckland, said that they had found that it could help combat the massive amounts of urine waste that is a serious threat to the environment. The study was published yesterday in the Journal of Current Biology. I mean, let's talk about that. Your job consists of you training cows on how to be potty trained. Think about that for a moment. What do you do? What kind of research are you working on? I'm working on trying to get cows potty trained.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's continue talking some more about some things that are going on in this lovely world of ours real quick. So here you go. 2 FDA officials who stepped down from their post over disagreement with the Biden administration on booster shots are speaking out of that on the evidence that doesn't yet indicated there is a need for an extra jab. Marion Gruber, director of the FDA's Office of Vaccination Researchers and Review, along with Deputy Director Phil Cross, published a viewpoints of The Lancet yesterday. They argue the vaccines remains effective in preventing severe disease, therefore the need for boosters is not yet necessary. Dr. Rochelle Walensky, director of the CDC, recently advised the White House that regulators need more time to review the data before approving a booster shot plan. Meanwhile, other top health officials feel that the vaccine supply should first be allocated to unvaccinated population to reduce the risk of the variant. So what do you think about it? There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to talk about inside of there. I have to tell you, when it comes to this whole thing, when we're starting to talk about variants and vaccinations and all this, depending on where you stand, because it is a standing point when it comes to this thing, what do you think? If you're pro-vax, do you think that they should already start talking booster shots? And then, I kind of know how you feel if you're anti on what should be done with it. Let's keep it a little bit, a little kosher in regard to what we're talking about this morning. But it's kind of an interesting one. And then you have now officials stepping down. But if you look at it, though, there's officials that step down all the time from stuff. Just look at it that way. So I don't know. Just some things to think about. Anyways, let's continue. The 2 middle school students who were arrested for allegedly planning to shooting at their Florida middle school attempted to recruit others to join their plot. According to recently released arrest report, the 13-year-old and the 14-year-old boys had conversation with other students during classes and the cafeteria and through Zoom virtual meeting. Search warrants executed at both boys' homes turned up guns and several knives. The boys were arrested on Saturday for attempted solicitation, conspiracy to conduct homicide of a mass shooting, and are being held in a juvenile detention facility. They are set to appear in court on September the 27th. So think about that real quick. So they were essentially, we were talking about this yesterday, and they were attempting to do a similar plot to what had been done in Columbine many years ago. That was back in 1999. Would probably say that if you're intrigued on that one, probably do some research on that story. Anyways, to continue talking, health department in 8 states are warning residents about the risk of West Nile virus as a number of cases has risen last week. State officials in Connecticut, Idaho, Massachusetts, Utah, North Dakota, Louisiana, Delaware, and New Hampshire have released preventative guidance on this virus, which is the leading cause of mosquito-borne disease in the U.S. Symptoms of the West Nile include fever, headache, body aches, nausea, swollen lymph glands, and skin rash. Those 50 and older are at risk of severe illness, which includes altered mental state and even death. There is no treatment for the virus, so officials say that the best bet is to avoid being mosquito bit. I mean, I don't know if that's really a choice. If you have let's go through today without getting bitten by any mosquitoes. I don't think that you kind of sit back and say that, but it's a wishful thought as we're going through it. As we are talking this morning, it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour. Just in case if you're wondering what's going on, you are still listening to Safety FM and on Radio Big. This is still the Rated R Safety Show, and let's get us moving into our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, main story time. So let's get it going and talking and going and moving and grooving and all that fun stuff, because that's what we do around here. Just in case, just in time for everything going on. So I guess it's really getting to the point that we need to start talking about the latest mandate. Have you heard about it? Do you know about what's the latest mandate? What is the newest of the new, the latest of the late? Do you? I mean, do you or do you not? I mean, that's kind of a part of an important question about this. Now, the funny part is that when these new mandates come out, there's some people that get extremely upset about it. And then there's some people that are okay with moving and grooving with the latest mandate. And that's the fun part. And that's the portion that I always tell people, what are you going to allow this to do? How are you going to let this affect you? How are you going to move forward? Do you know what the latest mandate is? No, seriously, do you know? Oh, so you don't know. Would you like me to share? But here's the fun part. That's the thing. I could actually post this as a main story every day, and somebody would be upset about a mandate that's going on. I could actually post this every day, and somebody will be happy about a mandate that's going on. And the fun part, or the interesting part as we are talking, is that it changes so frequently, because here's what happens. Mandates will come and go, but the way that you react to these things are going to be the important things. Think about it for a moment. Think about every morning when you wake up and you hear something new, regardless of what country you're in. There's always something new that comes about that needs to be changed, needs to be focused on, and so on. And some people get so hung up about these things that I could be pissed off the whole day about a mandate. And believe me, I'm not justifying mandates, changes, or agreeing with, or blah, 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 blah. But it's the way that we react to some of these things that's going to be important. And what mandate am I talking about? I'm not talking about any. I'm just talking in general. Think about it. Think about organizational changes and plans that happen all the time inside of organizations. Yeah, think about that sentence for a moment. It doesn't change much. It doesn't change a lot of things. And that's where we need to start talking. This is where we need to start. Now, if something crazy goes around, where all of a sudden it's this real dramatic, drastic change of something that should have never occurred, well, that's a different conversation. But if it's one of these convos where we're looking at this and then we're going, okay, maybe this is not going to be our altered B state, maybe that's something to talk about. Maybe that's something that we need to look into. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because that's definitely what we're going to be talking about today. So that's what's going on there. But like I always tell people, the way that you decide to react is really up to you. But what do I know? Just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, The Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you. Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, South Carolina. coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Let me try that. Yeah, I can recall when you came through that door, yeah. Glowing like a headlight, independent of the way, got her bread right, yeah. Hard to ignore, sexy body make a jaw hit the floor. Won't you come over now? Just let me hold you down. Nothing else matching your type. Nothing else.
Okay, there you go. 41 minutes past the top of the hour.
Oh, I feel the magic in
And that is Chalfa.
you. Give me a taste, I swear.
Or the song's Chalfa. That's Amaru singing it. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes.
Make up your mind, but I can't wait. When you coming over, let me be a chauffeur. Baby, I will keep on calling you love till you do the same.
So there you go. Thank you for letting us play this one this morning on the Rated R Safety Show. And let's sneak away from that for just a moment. So there you go. So anyways, a lot of stuff going on this morning. In case you missed it, the podcast has dropped for the Jay Allen Show this morning, where I get to interview Franny the Nanny. Yeah, that's not a joke as I'm saying that. Franny the Nanny. We sit back, talk about this children's style book related to safety, coming from Francine Scott. We get to hang out, talk about that this morning. So that was interesting times, getting to sit back and getting to meet someone that I did not know and having some conversations there about some things that are going on over there on that side. Anyways, let's talk about some shady new products that are out there. Facebook has finally launched the long-rumored smart glasses marketed as Ray-Ban Stories in partnership with the company. The glasses featured two front-facing cameras to capture photos and videos. The glasses appear by pressing a small button in the temple on the temple. They capture a 30-second of video or a photo. Users can say, "Hey, Facebook," and give voice commands. When the photo or video is taken, it goes to a new app called Facebook View that can be used to share the Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, or Instagram, as well as other apps like Twitter, TikTok, and Snapchat. The glasses will also feature 3 microphones of Bluetooth connectivity so users can connect to audio from their phones and make calls and send messages. As for what they look like, well, it looks like Ray-Bans. Ray-Ban Stories are available now in the US, UK, Italy, Australia, and Canada for about $300. But I thought my cell phone already allowed me to capture photos and videos to go to and listen to music and take phone calls, but I guess that's something else. So I saw a picture of Zuckerberg wearing these. He looks like a natural wearing Ray-Bans, as my mother would be with having a tattoo. So something to think about there. And so if you're the dude walking around the beach repeatedly saying, "Hey, Facebook," well, you might have a problem. So I'll tell you, not too far from where I'm located, there's a naturalist beach. Yes, a naturalist beach. So I wonder how many people are going to show up with those things. The other portion that I take a look at is, do you remember a very old movie called Strange Days? Now, what this thing was a device that it could actually connect to your head, and it would feel all the emotions, and you would see all the stuff that was going on, and that was kind of like a drug that they sold. I think that it's going to be one of these things that'll be very interesting. That this will actually go effective on how it looks, because I mean, it's just one of those things that is that essentially what we're trying to get to. Singularity. What does this say here? What is Jim popping in over here? How in the bleep is an agency that is understaffed and underfunded going effectively enforce a mandate of 80 million for 80 million people? We're definitely not talking about the Facebook thing anymore, are we? Or are we talking about the music? I'm so lost. I'm so lost. You know, that's what happens when people start listening at different portions of the show, because I'm not sure, what you're talking about. I'm so sorry. Don't know what to do anymore, really.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so letting the cats out of the bag. Let's talk about this. Cats are often thought of as being much less personable than dogs, and for a while they do tend to be more independent than the canine counterparts. As a new study says that there are much more cats' personalities than there will be giving credit for. Researchers of the University of Helsinki say that they identified 7 distinct personality behaviors, traits which display regularly on cats using comprehensive surveys and cat owners. The team examined the behavior of over 4,300 cats across 26 different breeds, so that they are 7 cat personalities. I mean, how slow of a news day is it in here? Okay, I'm not going to continue with that one. There's no way. What, you want to hear it? Do you want to hear it? I can tell you then. Okay, activity and playfulness, fearfulness, aggression towards humans, sociability towards humans, sociability towards cats, litter box issues, and excessive grooming. The researchers point out that the cat owners should expect those personalities to differ depending on the breed and where they're from or where they're into in their homes. I guess it's pretty much like this. It nails it. I would have been puking up a hairball every time to get a new carpet, would have been somewhere, to think about on how this actually works. Because, I don't think I'm a cat person. I mean, I might have a cat or two, or had a cat or two at one point, but I'm not really a cat person now that I think about it. I think I need a motivation minute at the moment, really. Let's get Johnny Smalls back in here and let him talk about some motivation for today.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Allison. Jeanette Jenkins said, "Never give anyone the power to take away your joy." I love that. Thanks, Allison. I had a conversation with both my son and my daughter when they were growing up about this very concept. When somebody was being rude to them, I reminded them, our reaction will make a bigger difference. My mom used to say, kill them with kindness. It's amazing how quickly people get confused when you're kind to them when they're not being kind to you. It downright baffles them. If you take their bait and get angry, like they want you to, you're like a fish on their hook. They caught you. But if you're kind to them, it downright confuses them. Kill them with kindness. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. Let's continue talking as we are 48 minutes past the top of the hour. So here you go. So Twix bars can now be eaten as a seasoning. Yes, you heard me correctly. It may be very odd to hear the candy topping referring to a seasoning blend, but exactly the makers of Twix candy bars are doing that. So they suggest sprinkling it on chicken wings. Yes, you did hear me correctly there. Chicken wings. Twix Shaker seasoning blend is a mixture of Candy Crush biscuits and soft caramel and milk chocolate, which of course would make a perfect dusting of a sweet treat. New Jersey-based B&G Food suggests that adding the seasoning to milkshakes, ice creams, and desserts, but also that should be creative to savory snacks such as popcorn and chicken wings. The candy seasoning comes in 3 flavors, chocolate, caramel, and cookie, and is rolling out in stores over the next coming months. So I'll just I'll just put the Twix in it. I mean, maybe that's the better way to go. So just to be clear, this isn't keto, is it? I mean, I'm just asking. I just want to have a good understanding. And I'm pretty sure that a Twix steak and mashed potatoes meal is in my near future. I'm just throwing that out there. Sounds like a good idea for me. No, it really does.
Rated R Safety Show. Sarcastic? Never.
Hey, I'm just saying. So let's talk about this world's coolest cities. According to a new Times Out ranking cities of nightlife, restaurant, culture, highlights, as well as sense of community, environmental initiatives, and commitment to activism and general friendliness. Let me give you the top 10 of what we came up with. At number 10, Tokyo, Japan. At number 9, Porto, Portugal. At number 8, Tel Aviv, Israel. At number 7, Prague, Czech Republic. At number 6, Montreal, Canada. At number 5, New York, USA. At number 4, Copenhagen, Denmark. At number 3, Manchester, UK. At number 2, Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And the number 1 spot, are you ready for this? Because I was kind of surprised. San Francisco. Yes, San Francisco took the #1 spot of the world's coolest cities. So there you go. Not exactly what I thought would have been, but that's exactly what it ended up being. Anyways, no winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $383 million jackpot or a $277.3 million cash payout. So there you go. Some stuff to think about for sure as we are talking. Okay, so let's talk about some other stuff. Did you hear about this? Cops will return to the small screen this fall. After wrapping its 2020 in 2020, the series is set to make a comeback in October on Fox Nation. As many will remember, the show, which ran 32 seasons, was canceled in wake of the George Floyd protests. So what do you think about it actually coming back and then actually going to Fox Nation? Should I talk about TMZ being sold to Fox? Now, this is the wrong show for that. We won't talk about that. Let's talk about some things that occurred back on this date real quick. So let's take a look. Back in, let's say 2018, Hurricane Florence makes landfall in North Carolina. The storm hit as a Category 1 and then weakened slowly moved inland. This was the first major hurricane of the 2018 hurricane season. That was back 3 years ago on this particular date. Let's talk about some birthdays that are going on. Jimmy Butler turns 32, Logan Henderson 32, Ashley Roberts 40, Zach Hampel 44, Andrew Lincoln 48, Nas turns 48, Sam Neill 74, and Walter Koenig. Yes, Walter Koenig turns 85. There you go. Also, today's birthdays, people that passed away, would have been Amy Winehouse, Steve Gaines from Leonard Skinner fame, Clayton Moore from The Lone Ranger, and Jack Hawkins, just to name a few. If you're looking for some reasons to celebrate today, let me give you some reasons to do that. Today's National Parents' Day off. National Cream-Filled Donut. I knew there was a reason I was wanting a donut today. It all makes sense now. National Eat a Hoagie Day. National Live Creative Day. National Sober Day. National Virginia Day. I almost say National Virginity Day, which that would have been a very interesting thing to say. National Ants on a Log Day. And International Crab Fest Day. Those are all days you can celebrate if you're looking to do so. I don't know if you are. But hey, it's definitely something you can celebrate. That's for sure. Anyways, let's talk about Did You Know? While the older retail trick of pricing an item at the amount ending in 99 cents to make it seem cheaper is effective at motivating shoppers to make the purchase, a new study has found that the approach may backfire on sellers. Ohio State University researchers say that just below pricing strategies makes shoppers much less likely to upgrade to a more expensive item, such as a larger TV or a higher-end trim or of a car. In other words, while that it is true that the approach can help make a product appear less expensive, just below pricing also makes the notion of upgrading to a higher price point seems to be too expensive. So think about that. So that's why when I price stuff, I end in like 0.52 because, that makes a lot more sense as we are talking. Anyways, let's continue a little bit more about some other things that are going on today. Let's talk about some whack facts real quick. Approximately 25% of people sneeze when exposed to bright lights. The fastest moving muscle in the human body is the one that opens and closes the eyelid. Both optimists and pessimists brace for the worst when awaiting potential bad news. More babies are born in September than any other month. Well, you wouldn't have any old person born in September. You know what I'm saying? Here you go. A Georgia man named Gary Duda legally changed his name to Zippity, his first name to Zippity. So Zippity Gary Duda. So there you go. That's an interesting one. Researchers discovered that chimpanzees perceive butts the same way the humans perceive faces. Hey now, that's something to think about for sure. Where do these stories come from?
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's do this real quick. Some scoops of BF. The newest book of Guinness World Records is out, but I'm not buying a copy this year. Why waste money on something that basically is the same of the previous year's version, especially when I can use that money to go get an iPhone 13? The first weekend of NFL season is in the books. I have a good feeling about my team. Too, they didn't have a single player who was stabbed, shot, or impregnated anyone during the offseason, so that's very good. Rob Gronkowski's brother says the Buccaneers tight end will retire when Tom Brady does, so never then is, I guess, what they're looking for. Oliver Stone turns 75 tomorrow, so does he. Get it. A man has just been jailed after stabbing a woman with a syringe filled with his semen in a supermarket. I don't know if you heard about this one. This was actually making the interwebs. On the plus side, ladies, he's single, just in case you did not know. What the hell's going on?
Oops. What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, so let's talk about some truths or BS real quick before we get you out of here. Let's see. Cats have whiskers on their legs. Is that true or false? Or true or BS? It's actually true. They have whiskers on their front legs to help them navigate in the dark. Okay, here's another one. There are 5 rings in the Olympic logo. True or BS? It's actually true. There are a blue, a yellow, black, green, and red. Here you go. Here's the next one. Saturn is the only planet in the solar system with rings. That's BS. Jupiter, Neptune, and Uranus also has rings as also. Grapes grow on trees. True or BS? It's actually BS. They grow on vines. There were 5 members of the group One Direction. True or BS? It's actually true. Harry, Zayn, Nile, Liam, and Lewis. Not Lois. It's probably not the person. The name of the main character in Riverdale is Archie Anderson. That's actually false. It's Archie Andrews. Hurricane, tropical, cyclones, and Richters are all the same type of storms. Now, the Richter scale measures the strength of an earthquake, and humans share more than 50% of our DNA with bananas. Is that true or BS? Actually, the correct answer is that it's true. So there you go. Anyways, let me tell you about my friends at the the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, go to afsp.org. That's afsp.org, or call 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-TALK, or text the word TALK to 741-741. So there you go. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, here's one. I can tell if someone is judgmental just by looking at them. If you need a phone starter, try this. What movie or TV show title best describes your week so far? If you need something for the water cooler, try this. In a survey, 2/3 of parents said that it's much easier to do this with girls than boys. What is it? Name them. So there you go. That's what's going on. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on RadioBig.fm and SafetyFM.com. Safety FM is the home of real safety talk at Radio Big, and it's safe.